Welcome back once again to my channel. My name is Peace, and if you don't know me, I am a Nigerian living and working in Japan. So in this video, I want to talk about the pros and cons of living in Japan. I have been living in Japan for about a year, and my experience has been great. So I just want to share my opinions about this country and what I consider to be a pro or to be pros and cons of living in Japan. Remember, these are my opinions and my experiences. So let's get right into the video. So I'll start with the pros of living in Japan. Number one is job opportunities. Of course, that was how I came to Japan. Okay, I got a job from my country and I had to move to Japan. But apart from that, there are so many jobs in Japan. Japan's economy is diverse. In fact, the unemployment rate in Japan at February 2024 was 2.4%. This is to show you that everyone is working, everyone has a job. So Japan has various job opportunities across different sectors: healthcare, education, IT, just name it. However, fluency in Japanese is required to work in these companies. So the next is rich culture. The rich culture of Japan is something I really, love about the Japanese society. Their culture places emphasis on respect for elders, respect for people, etiquette, and when it comes to family, they are traditional people. They value things like family ties, family gatherings. All of these things kind of strengthens the bonds with them and their family. So also when it comes to dressing, they tend to dress decently. The society values modesty. Love the way the women dress. It's very decent. And yeah, they tend to value modesty in this part of the world. There are some clothes I was wearing in my country that I can't even wear here. Not because they are indecent, but it's maybe considered inappropriate. So I just tend not to wear them. And apart from the dressing, food. I love their food. Japanese food is delicious. Living in this country has kind of made me more broad-minded. I kind of appreciate people's culture and their food. At first, I thought it would be impossible for me to, try Japanese food or something. And that was why I came with a lot of food stuffs when I was coming to Japan. But I must say, that was a wrong notion. Japanese food is delicious. That will take me to my number three, which is good food. As a teacher, I eat school lunch and I have tried different Japanese food. Apart from the fact that the food is tasty, the most important thing is that it is healthy. The typical school lunch is like a set. There is rice, salad, chicken, or fish or beef, and miso soup. Not just that, there is always a box of milk. So these are healthy. Next is a clean and safe country. Japan is clean, very clean, and it is safe. That is a fact. Anyone that has been to Japan can attest to that. It is very clean. Next is safety. Japan is one of the countries with a low crime rate when compared to other countries. I can actually go out at night and not be scared of being attacked actually or being robbed. There was a time I was out at 10 p.m. I think I missed my train, so I was out at that time. I was less than a month in Japan, and for some reason I didn't just feel scared. I didn't feel afraid that someone was gonna rob me or maybe attack me with a knife or something. I did not feel that way at all, and I was more concerned about the cold because it was very cold that night. And apart from that, the people are always willing to help. The driver, the train driver, the workers at the station, they're always willing to help. So that kind of made me feel safe at that time. There have never really been a time where I would be or where I was scared of going somewhere because of, the fear of being attacked or robbed or something. Never. So this is my experience, guys. And like I said, Japan has a low crime rate. It's low when compared to other countries. Next is an efficient transport system. This is one of the major pros of living in Japan. There are various buses, trains, and I mean, commuting to work, to school, or to anywhere else is very convenient. Punctuality again is something I really, really give to them because they are always punctual. The buses, the trains are 99% on time most of the time, and that helps me to plan as a planner. I kind of plan my day. I know that when I get to the station, the bus is leaving at this time, and I would arrive at a certain time. So I have to, plan my activities around that time. And it makes me live an organized life. Like my life is literally planned. I plan very well. So if you're a planner like me, then living in Japan would be good for you. This brings me to the next point, which is convenience. Like, it's very convenient to live in Japan actually, because one, the cost of living, it's not so high as it is in other countries. It is quite affordable, especially if you earn a salary. Of course, you can pay your bills in Japan. Also, the transport system makes it very convenient to commute. Apart from the convenience, talk about peace. Especially if you live in the rural areas, you will experience this peace and quiet. I don't know, but personally, there is this peace that I kind of experience living in this country. Japan is very quiet, like very quiet, although sometimes it can be boring though. But if you're someone that doesn't like noise, living in the rural area will be good for you because it's actually very peaceful. Again, it's very organized. Like really, Japan is so organized. So if you're someone that loves to work and live in an organized country or an organized place, or if you're someone that is very organized, then Japan is for you. I really admire how organized they are. Next, I want to talk about the good healthcare system. Japan is one of the countries with the best healthcare in the world. There was a time I went to the hospital. That was the first time I came here when I was still a JJC. So I went to the hospital to check my sugar level because for some reason I was just eating too much sweets. So I went to the hospital and I told the doctor what I wanted to do, and he asked if I was diabetic. I said no, I wasn't diabetic, and so I explained to him that it's something I do like regularly. And so he said he was going to check my sugar level, and in addition to that, he was going to check my cholesterol level, my liver, my kidney, everything. And I was like, okay, that was great, right? Take it away. I was so impressed. I was impressed because I felt he was really concerned about my well-being. Like he wanted to be sure I was okay. The healthcare system in Japan is very good. And again, there is accessibility. That's the thing. I can see the doctor when I want to. I watch videos of people in other countries saying how they don't have access to the doctor or something. And, I don't know, but in this country, it's totally different. You can see the doctor when you book an appointment, you go to the hospital. It's not difficult. So one of the pros of living in Japan is not just healthcare, but quality healthcare. So right now, I'm going to talk about the cons of living in Japan. And number one is language barrier. Yes, I mean, it's obvious. One of the reasons people don't want to live in Japan is because of the language. When I tell them I live in Japan, they are always like, okay, how do you cope with the language? Like, do you speak Japanese? Do you do this? So most of them don't want to stress, and that is fine. So language barrier is a thing, actually, especially when it comes to switching careers. Like, for example, as a teacher, I cannot go and work in the healthcare sector or any other department if I want to. And that is because I don't speak Japanese. Apart from the certification, even if I am a certified doctor, I can't work in a hospital because I do not speak Japanese. Or if I'm a certified accountant, I cannot work in the bank because I don't speak Japanese. So that kind of limits one's chances of getting jobs in Japan if you don't speak Japanese. It is a problem. It is not a problem, but it's a thing. And number two is natural disasters. I'm sure a lot of people have been waiting for this part. And someone asked me to make a video talking about natural disasters. And honestly, I have not experienced it, so I can't make the video because I haven't experienced it. So the first earthquake that happened this year on the 1st of January, I did not experience it. So I was out with some friends, and For some reasons, it did not reach there. So I did not experience the earthquake. We only went online and saw that there was an earthquake. But apart from that, while we were driving to the venue, my phone started vibrating. Like I received an alert, like, okay, earthquake is about to happen. Seek cover, seek cover. And I was so terrified. We were driving. So I asked my friend, what is gonna happen? What are we gonna do? Because hey, I was really scared because I thought, okay, is the ground gonna open? We were driving, we were not home, so that was more dangerous. So my friend was like, oh, don't worry, it's just nothing, nothing. So I was a bit calm after I heard that, and then we went to the venue. Nothing happened. We did whatever I wanted to do, had fun. It was like a New Year celebration with some Africans, and we had fun and everything. And no one knew that there was earthquake. It was when we went online, we started seeing the videos and the pictures and the news that there was an earthquake in Japan. So I haven't experienced it, but as long as I live in Japan, I may experience it one time. I don't know if I should pray to experience it. I don't want to experience it. So generally, natural disasters happen in Japan, and they are one of the cons of living in Japan. Next is strict rules. There are so many strict rules in Japan. One of them is you can't eat on the bus or on the train, or you shouldn't eat on the bus or on the train. You can't or you shouldn't pick calls on the bus or on the train. When you do that, people begin to stare at you like you're doing something abnormal. So there are so many rules. If you're using the escalator, you have to stay on the left, stuff like that. The trash, if you want to trash your stuff, you have to separate the trash, plastic, burnable, non-burnable, everything. You just have to do that. And really, that can be a thing. So there was a time I was on the train. I was on my way back from a trip, and it was about an hour. So I was on the phone with my mom. We were chatting, and it was a serious discussion. So she wanted to call me, and I was like, "You can't call me right now because I can't pick calls, except if the train is empty, like very empty. Then you can talk, but you would have to whisper or something." So it wasn't convenient. I had to tell her to hold on till after an hour. So after I got to my station, I got off the train, I then had to call her. So you can see, no one can just call me just like that and expect me to pick, because if you call me just like that, as long as I'm on the train with a full train or I'm on the bus, I cannot pick your call. That is because it's one of the rules in Japan. Another thing is there are no trash cans. So if you eat your food, if you eat your whatever you want to eat, you have to take the wrap with you to your house and dispose it there. On my first day at school, I had not subscribed for school lunch. So during lunch, I was asked to, go and get something. So I went out to buy my lunch from 7-Eleven. I got back to the school, ate my lunch, and when I was done, my JTE told me, "Please, Sensei, please take it home." So I had to take my empty, dirty plates home. I put them in my bags and I took them home. So when I got home, I had to trash them. So guys, there are no trash cans everywhere. You can find a few close to the vending machines in Japan, but not all. Last is limited access to African items. And this is because of the small African community in Japan. We don't really have so many African businesses. African businesses like, food stores, salons, stuff like that. There are quite a few in Japan compared to other countries like, the UK, the US, Canada, other countries. The African population in those countries are kind of larger than it is here in Japan. So they have more African stores over there than we have in this country. It doesn't mean they are not available. These stores are in Japan, but in major cities. So if you live outside those cities, it would be difficult for you to have access to those African items or African services. And that is why it is kind of difficult to get your African food. You have to buy online if available. If the items you want to buy are sold out, there's nothing you can do. You just have to wait. So it's kind of annoying. Generally, my experience has been wonderful, and if you're planning on moving to Japan, I would advise you have an open mind and be willing to adjust, because that is what has helped me so far. I have come to the end of this video and I thank you so much for watching. I would see you in my next video. But before I go, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. And if you have questions or video suggestions, you can leave it in the comment section or send me a message on Instagram. My handle is @Shalidi25. I'll see you again in my next video. Bye for now.